Hiya, that's Joe. I'm Gary, and together we're JNG.
Hi everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Gary.
And together we're J&G. Welcome everybody to our very first J&G video.
Ooh.
Wow. So, welcome to the J&G channel and welcome to our first J&G video. Now, we are decided to put together this YouTube channel because a lot of you on social media seem to be really interested in our relationship and how we got together and some of the things we get up to as a couple. So so my name is Joe and I am a gay guy from Brighton and I have autism. And do you want to introduce yourself, honey?
Hi, my name's Barney the dinosaur. No, it was quite a childhood memory of mine.
Yes, I gathered. But how about introducing yourself properly?
Hi everyone, my name's Gary and I'm from Glasgow, Scotland, but to be honest, I love my Englishmen, so I come down to Brighton sometimes to see Joe, because I absolutely love the city and him.
Oh, I love you too, honey. So we're a gay couple and we're engaged.
Actually, I'm straight.
Don't you start, you cheeky bugger. So
straight and probably out in Africa or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
So we are an engaged couple, and do you want to show everyone your ring? Very nice. So I've got a nice gold ring with some tiny little diamonds inside it.
Angels get very good taste.
A ring with tiny diamonds and coloured gemstones, and inside his ring is engraved with love wins. Mine is engraved with soulmate. So, but we'll talk about the engagement a little later. So, how did me and Gary meet? Well, that's what this video is about. So this first video is about how Gary and I got together and how we got to this, how do we get to this point today. So, let's take you back to 2017. 5 years ago. So we're going back 5 years where we celebrated 20 years of Steps. Now what we loved...
20 years? Oh my God, it's 25 years now. I feel old.
You feel old. Try being 30.
Try being 47.
Yeah, whatever. So back in 2017, it was the 20th anniversary of Steps. And both me and Gary, being huge Steps fans, we were added to a Steps chat room called, I think it was just called the Steps chat room or something, or Steptacular.
I think it was Steptacular chat room. Something
like that. And it was organised by a guy called
Gary Rolfe.
Gary Rolfe.
Very nice guy. Quite nice.
Yeah, he was quite nice. And so this was September 2017, and we were talking about Party on the Dance Floor, which was the 20th anniversary Steps tour. So of course we had the Tears on the Dance Floor and the new album. That was the new album of the year, Tears on the Dance Floor, and then Crying at the Disco edition. And so we were showing all our outfits, and I came into the chat room to say I was so excited. I got a meet and greet, and I was really happy and overjoyed. And then I presented the first bits of my outfit, because I found this black t-shirt that had Steps Party on the Dance Floor Tour 2017 in glitter writing. I still actually have that t-shirt somewhere in the
it's cracking.
It's lovely, I love it. And I was in the chat room, and all of a sudden this gorgeous guy pops up wearing a false red leather jacket, and I'm like, who is that beautiful guy?
Yeah, Joe messaged me the blue saying, "Guy, I think you look really hot in that jacket."
Which is really.
And I thought you were taking the mic.
Yeah, he thought I was taking the mix. So what happened was we just ended up talking, and we kind of started flirting with each other for a little while. Around December time, he asked me out because he wanted me to go out, but he was in a relationship with another guy before me, but they broke up.
We broke up twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
And so, and the reason, initially, I did like Gary at the time, But it was like, I didn't want to get with him because I didn't feel like, I didn't want to be a sort of rebound. So, and I wanted to keep getting to know him as a friend. But we got really close.
bit too close, to be honest. I'm not going to say what, though.
Yes. So over the months, we just kept talking, and
Remember that first conversation with your ma? It's like, you're making my son very, very happy. It's like, how are you? Want to know more about you?
that first time that my mum talked to Gary, it was like she just wants, because like with any parent, they just want you to be happy, and they want to make sure that
she noticed. No, I don't know much about your dad, but definitely your mum noticed.
there was something different about me, about the way I was talking, and the way how happy I was just so much more happy, and how I
Your
always.
ma spoke to me on the phone on FaceCam, and she was like, "You look like a really nice guy, Gary. So you're making my son really happy." I'm like, "Is there any chance of you coming to Brighton?"
For these days, nah, not so much.
It's like, "Oh, Gary, please be quiet. Gary, please just." Yeah, I'm quite rambunctious.
And quite chatty, just like me. But then again, it's like
Your mum likes a chat, but just not too much chat.
Yeah. The thing is about me and Gary, I can tell you, is me and Gary are very similar to each other, and that's probably why we get on so well. But we're very similar, and we do have our arguments as well, because we're quite similar in personality as well. So, but yeah. So what happened was, after I said no, Gary got back with the ex
Again.
for the second time, and
it only lasted like a couple of weeks.
It lasted a week.
Couple of weeks, just under 2 weeks.
Yeah, it didn't last. Basically, it didn't last long, and so I was upset that he got back with his ex, because I was starting to fall for him, and then by April I just knew I had to say something. So by April,
you asked me it.
Yeah, I did. I saw it, and you said yes.
I did. I couldn't say no to you, because you're everything that I wanted, everything that I needed in my life.
Oh. I love this guy so much. He's just wonderful. And so Gary and I got together, and we were boyfriends. What we have is what people would call a long distance relationship. It's when you date someone who's in another city or another country. So Gary's from Glasgow and I'm from Brighton, and so we were dating like virtually. You know, all we would do is we would call each other every day, and sometimes we'd video chat on Facebook or Skype or WhatsApp or whatever we had, and we would flirt and have a little bit of fun.
Well,
as
the obvious word,
yeah,
fun. Operative word, fun.
Yeah. And so we just spent time together, and we watched a couple of we found a lot of shows we loved in common. We loved both
Power Rangers,
Pokemon, Ninja Turtles,
yeah.
Doctor Who, Harry Potter. What else?
I was quite shocked when you said about Power Rangers, because I grew up with that a lot as a kid. And when you said you loved Barney, I went crazy.
And when he said he loved Rainbow, I was just like, oh my god,
No, because you had a t-shirt on, I'm like, oh, George and Zippy. I was like, you know Rainbow? I'm like, aye.
And Button Moon's another show. And when he said he liked all those shows, I was like, oh my god, I have found my soulmate. So
no, because it's when you pulled out a DVD on cam that you bought in a charity shop of Wallace and Gromit, and I'm like, has it got Matter of Loaf and Death on it? And he was like, yep, it does. Do you like Wallace and Gromit? It's like, I love Wallace and Gromit. And I pulled out the exact same DVD from my DVD box.
Oh, cheese Gromit. Oh, let's block it up with Wensleydale.
And you don't actually like Wensleydale. We went out and bought it the first time I came down. You said
I don't.
We bought it the first time I ever came down. We bought.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly. It was such a long time ago.
Christmas, we bought Wensleydale cheese.
No, it wouldn't be.
Our first Christmas.
Oh, so.
Well, not Christmas, New Year. We went out and bought party food, and you're like, let's get a wee block of Wensleydale.
Oh, yes, I remember now.
And cheese crackers.
It was okay, but I think I'd probably like it if it was melted on something. Like, if it was melted on toast or something.
But that's not how you do it. You slice the cheese and put it on the cracker. You don't melt it.
No. I'm talking about if I had it on toast, darling. If I had it on toast, then I probably would eat it. That's what I'm saying. But continue back to present day. So Gary and I finally met in June 2018, because we got together April 2018, and then we met in June 2018. And I remember the first time he came down, I had butterflies in my tummy. I was
travelling
nervous.
all day.
Yeah.
All day.
But these days he travels through the night, because we find that when you travel through the night, you sort of like waste the whole day trying to... You waste the whole day trying to do the... waste the whole day trying to get the coach down. So in the end, that's why Gary started doing it at night time. So he travels through the night, sleeps on the bus or coach, and then he's here and he travels down by train these days, because we find that coaches these days, like, they take a lot longer. That's why Gary does bus or megabus, megabus to London, and then a train from London to Brighton, because it just speeds things up. It just makes the journey a lot quicker.
9 hours.
Yeah. So what happened is Gary and I met. My brother Tom and I came in the taxi, and he and I
and everyone was all in the living room waiting for me. It was like the Queen arrived.
Not really.
Yeah, because your mum was in the living room.
Mum and Dad were in bed because it was late at night. Remember?
No, the first time I came down.
No, I remember very well. It was late at night. Remember, late at night, and Emma's was on the computer, and Hayley was in her room.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very
sure. Your mum was the only one up.
No, Mum and Dad were both upstairs, because I remember
I must have been the following morning then.
So late at night. So Gary arrived late that night, 10 or 11 at night, and then Tom and I came in a taxi. And then we arrived at the Brighton coach station, picked him up, and the first time Gary and I kissed in the back of the taxi, oh my God, it was electrifying. It was kind of like this, wasn't it?
And I remember I just held your hair.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I was just so like, I just felt so good. And then that's when I realised how good it felt. And I remember one of the first photos we took was in the back of the taxi. Unfortunately, I lost quite a few of our original photos from the first time we were together. But we did manage to find that first photo we ever took, but it's a bit blurry, but at least we have it. And it's really cute. And what I loved about Gary was how he makes me laugh. And another picture I remember we took was in the living room, and we had these like blue glasses on. It was like black sunglasses with blue around the edges. I'm trying to remember where you bought those now.
Black and blue.
Yeah, it was like you call them the neon blue sunglasses, because you wanted us because we wore them to steps.
I bought them in Glasgow, and it was black actual glasses.
Black lenses and blue frames.
Oh yeah, they were like, I can't remember, like army type sunglasses.
Yeah.
They were like a couple of quid.
So Gary and I spent...
I bought them for steps, because we had tickets for steps, but more on that later.
Yeah. So Gary and I spent some time together, and we, obviously you can see some pictures on the screen as we talk, so with that, so the first thing we did that day was I took Gary out the next day. We went out to town, and we did a bit of window shopping, so I took him to Churchill Square so we can see the big shopping centre we have in Brighton.
It was massive. Absolutely massive.
And we went to lunch, and it was Friday. So it was Thursday he came down, and Friday we went out.
No, because we went by Wetherspoons, and you just see my face drop.
Because you didn't realise.
I love Wetherspoons. It's one of my favourite restaurants back in Glasgow.
And I had never really been to Wetherspoons, so Gary took me into Wetherspoons, and we had fish and chips for lunch. And
I think we.
I remember. Yeah, we went Dutch that day. I remember that. And the funny thing,
because you wouldn't let me pay for it, even though I said I was all right for money.
I think it's because I wanted to be fair. That's all. So.
Yeah, because...
And then I got funny with you because you had a cider at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, you don't drink cider at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
So that's what I always have.
But yeah.
And then you started asking your mum and dad, or like, why does Gary drink at 12 o'clock in the afternoon? And your mum asked, is that something that you do, Gary? Is it regularly when I go to Wetherspoons, I'll have my burger and a pint?
I mean, I had I think I had
J2O,
yeah,
you had?
yeah, I had
The orange?
orange and passion fruit J2O. And then that evening, Gary and I went out to my local gay bar, which is our bar, or Bar Revenge as it is. And I remember when you can see in the photograph right here, we wore rainbow waistcoats. I had a black shirt on, but I had to roll up the sleeves because they were too long.
We managed to find two, but right now we managed to find you a short sleeve one.
Thank
It
God.
took us all that time to find you a short sleeve one,
Yeah,
but you're happy with it.
Took us 4 blinking years to find one.
Even though I did tell you primo, but you said you weren't sure about it.
I just wasn't sure, but I took my chances and it succeeded. So that was June. And then in July...
May I? We went to London
to see Steps.
That was so out of time.
I know.
We went to see Steps
at Kew Gardens, and that was really lovely. And we went with our friend Amy. And
who we're still very good friends with.
Yes, we're still very good friends with Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hey, darling.
So Gary and I went to see Summer of Steps at Kew Gardens, which was the 10th of July 2018. And we
celebrating their 21st anniversary.
Yeah, and it was a summer concert, and it was like all outside. It was actually the first time I went to a Steps concert where it was like at an outdoors venue.
Oh, it's my second.
Oh, okay.
My second seeing a summer show. Before me and Joe met, they had the Ultimate Tour, but I missed out on tickets for the actual arena tour.
So that would have been 2012, July.
But my ma and dad went out and got me and my ma tickets for the summer tour, and the support act couldn't have worked out any better. I got to see Steps, my mum got to see Peter Andre. It was such a fab night. It was such a fab night.
But back to 2018. So Gary and I went to the concert and we did meet and greet together for the first time. And it was the first time Gary and I...
Yes, a photo.
Yeah, there you go. So this is a photo. So
I
this
love
is when...
that photo. I absolutely love that photo. We need to get that
it's one of my favourites. And I think what I love about that was it was the first time I actually met Steps with a boyfriend, a partner. And that's what made it special.
And every one of them knew you, and I'm like, I feel absolutely...
They knew me as Joe Boy. They just, it's like, it's funny.
They
recognised
just me from Glasgow.
Do you know what? What was funny was, in 2017, I did, there was a Yahoo... Was it 2017? Yeah, it was 2017. I did a Yahoo message... Q&A thing. And when my question came up, Joe Bolingbroke, which is me... it came up with Joe Boy. H literally piped up and said, "Oh, Joe Boy, we know Joe Boy. Hi." And he's like, "Joe Boy from Brighton." It's like, my face. It was like, I was just shouting to my mum and dad. Oh my! I was shouting to my mum. Oh my God, H! They know who I am. And I was just so overjoyed.
No, because when we both went in, Faye was like, "Gary from Glasgow, so good to see you again."
And Joe Boy from Brighton. And it was, and what was so nice was
Claire was like, "Hello Gary, lovely to see you. Watch my earrings," because she just got a piercings done. Can I give her a cuddle and say, "Thank you, Gary. Watch the earrings,
It was
darling."
just lovely. I mean, what was also nice was after we did our photo, we did a group hug. All 7 of us. It was so lovely. So it was wonderful. We shared that moment, and the CDs we had signed were the Party on the Dance Floor CD DVDs.
Yeah.
And that was really good. So what? So then
went to the concert, bought a bit of merchandise. We managed to get the Summer of Steps caps that everyone was wearing. I'm like, they're so cool.
And we ended up wearing them for the whole
concert.
Yeah, and that was really good.
It was so hot.
And we had Summer of Steps T-shirts as well.
Official ones.
Yeah, official ones with all the dates on the back. And then after that, after the concert, we went back to the hotel because we were staying in... Oh, what was that hotel we were staying in that was near...
Travelodge.
Yes, the Travelodge, and that was really good. And I think I actually, somewhere in my bedroom, I do actually still have our key cards from that hotel room.
Really?
I think so, yeah. Because I also had somewhere, I've still got the Oyster card we used to travel on the underground and everything. So that was really cool. And so after the steps, we came back to Brighton for a bit, and Gary stayed with me in my house for a little while, and we just did stuff in Brighton, just talked and told everyone what it was like to meet Steps together, and everyone was just really happy for us. And yeah, and then we moved now on to October. Now October was a little different because we didn't see each other. Well, wait, no, we didn't do. No, not October. Sorry, August. August was my birthday, and we went to Brighton Pride. So
and I was with you for a full 2 weeks.
Yes. So here is...
My mum was worried as anything. She's like, 2 weeks he's going to be away for in England.
Yeah.
The last time I did anything in England was in Birmingham, and I did that for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks, my mum was like, make sure you've got your things sorted.
Yeah. So so here's a photo of me and Gary at Pride.
Oh my God, not that photo. Me with that Union Jack skirt.
Funny story. Okay, so we were at the bus stop, and Gary got overexcited.
Can I?
Seeing Britney Spears,
No,
and then
can I take it away?
Take it away, honey cakes.
I was like, Jordan, no, because what Britney does some of her tours, she does bring up dancers that she sees in the audience, and they think they're really good. So I was practicing all my best moves, and Joe's like, you're pretty good at doing high kicks, aren't you? I was like, perfect. I'm like, Britney, and I said,
Britney!
Big high kick. My rainbow shot slipped.
Well, that's £8. I'm never getting back again. Those were like rainbow Pride shorts, because we got a lot of Pride stuff from Primark for our outfits. And the one thing we did wear for our t-shirts was, because that year it was the
45th anniversary for Rainbow.
I think it was, because this year is the 50th. So no, it wouldn't have been. It would have been the 46th anniversary. So we just wore rainbow because we wanted to do something different, and we're both rainbow fans.
Even though I said we should do Britney.
Yeah, but I just didn't feel up to it.
Oh, that just happened.
Steps badge, but those are specially made. Okay, so Gary ripped his shorts, and so
and I was screaming the whole street doing. I'm like,
not really.
I was screaming.
You just panicked, and so we jumped on the bus. We got off at the open market, and I bought Gary this rainbow Union Jack flag, which he used as a sort of kilt. We then bumped into our friend Victoria and her partner. I can't remember his name. Was it Rob or something?
Robert, I think his name was.
Yeah, Robert. Here's a photo of those two with us, and I love this photo. Victoria, we always saw a lot in the open market when we were first together.
She loved a nice gin.
And her mum was a fan of David Bowie. And I remember the first time we met Victoria, I said to her that I'm sure that your mum right now is with David Bowie, dancing and singing and having fun. And she got emotional. She felt really happy. She got emotional, and she said, "Thank you for saying that. It's really lovely." And it's like, she really appreciated it. So then, thankfully, Peacock's was open. So we went into Peacock's, and I got Gary some new black shorts.
No, because I was like, I don't feel comfortable. I just felt, I hate to say it, I'm going to try and keep it PG, but I felt the wind blowing somewhere, literally.
Yeah. So
I'm going to keep it at that.
So basically, yeah, I bought some new shorts. Then we watched the parade as planned on London Road.
So different.
Yeah.
Because this year we actually did the parade.
We were in the parade, but that's a video. But that's a video for another time.
But then we were watching the parade. It's two completely different.
It's a different dynamic from watching the parade, being in the crowd and watching the parade, and then actually being in the parade itself.
Oh my
just
God, it was
people watching
amazing. So good.
But that obviously is a video for another time. So Pride was amazing. We ended up leaving after a couple of songs from Britney because I got crushed. Well, when Britney came on, people just started surging forward, and I literally got shoved forward, and I hated that. And then I was getting worried and anxious. Gary could see I was, in trouble with trying to stand up.
And you started moaning at me. I was like,
I just got upset because I knew you wanted to see Britney, and just Gary.
No, because Joe knows there's this one song that I really love, and I've never seen Britney sing it live.
Every time.
And I know it. She actually sings it live.
Every time.
Every time she just sings it live.
I love that.
And you only
But
love that every time. Like,
then Gary was
move.
like, just move. So he just took me out and just literally was just moving people out of the way.
No,
so
can we
to
literally
get me
got
out.
to the back and she started doing Give Me More. At least let me hear this song before we go. And I did a very big high kick and my shorts didn't rip.
Thank God for that. So then we left, we got on the bus and we went back to my house and it was all good.
Your mum was a bit shocked to see us back so early, but we're like, and thanks to my Auntie Michelle, we actually got home because
Thank you to Garrick's Auntie Michelle for helping us that night. So, what ended up happening was we went back home and then it was my birthday. Now, I don't have a lot of photos of me and Gary together on my birthday, unfortunately. They've gone missing.
from when we first broke up.
Yeah. But we'll get to that later. October, we had MCM London, which was amazing. Obviously, we did a photo shoot, as you see here. And we dressed up as the Mighty Morphin Red and Blue Ranger for the first time. And it was the first...
Power Ranger! Go Power Ranger!
You get the idea. So, with that, Gary and I dressed up as the Red and Blue Ranger. And it was the first time I actually had a Power Ranger boyfriend. And I was on cloud 9, literally.
I remember the first time I put on that suit and your face just dropped.
I was just like, oh my god, I seriously have a Ranger boyfriend. And he's so dumb.
No, it wasn't now when I put on.
And he's so darn cute.
And I was a lot slimmer back then. Well,
He felt sexy.
I actually felt really sexy.
And I just loved hugging him and just I literally had to kiss him because I was so hot and bothered and so attracted to Gary and his Blue Ranger gear. I just had to kiss.
No, because I sent the photo to all my family and friends, and they're like, Gary, you've really lost a lot of weight. You look really slim in that.
All thanks to the gym of Joe's gym. So with that. So Gary and I went to MCM London and we got to meet Steve Cardenas and Catherine Sutherland. And they loved us. They absolutely loved us. And
you screamed out, we're going to get married.
And everyone cheered because it's true. Because what happened was next month, what did we do anything in November? I don't think we did, no.
No, I was in Glasgow.
But then Christmas, we came down in December because we went to see Rocky Horror at the Brighton Theatre Royal, and that's us in our outfits. And what's nice, I'll tell you what's really cool. We want to say a big thank you to the photographer because years ago we lost this photograph, but the photographer sent us the photographs he took of us outside the Brighton Theatre Royal. So thank you. And here's the photo, and it looks really awesome, and I love our outfits.
You look hot. I'm telling you, I think you'd be really good doing drag. I do. I really do.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You got to remember that Frankenfurter is not drag. What people need to remember is Frankenfurter is a sweet transvestite. So he's a transvestite, meaning he's a man that wears women's clothes, even though he's an alien. So, but there's that. But at the end of the day, with Frankenfurter, I enjoyed dressing up as that, and Gary did a gender bend version of Columbia, and that was really, really good. I think...
No, because we tried to get me shorts, but it was so dear for my size because...
Very dear.
Excuse my French, but I'm a big, fat bull.
We can't swear, kids watch this show. Anyways.
A big fat pig.
Yeah. So basically, we went to Rocky Horror and had a great time, and that was early December. And we also got to put up the decorations for Christmas in my house. Here's a little picture of me. This is me, my mum, and I think it's me, my mum, and Gary. I think that's the photo show.
Yes, it is.
Holding the Christmas foil decorations.
Yes,
now, what's good about having Gary in the house is he can help me get to the ceiling and help put the ceiling decorations up, so I don't have to.
I'm 6'3",
and I'm only 5'7". So we did Christmas. Well, that little bit of Christmas. But then Gary had to go home for Christmas, even though he now wishes he was here. And why? What happened on Christmas Day at your end?
What do you mean?
A food fight, remember?
Oh my god, Christmas Day, I'm just gonna be honest, I got drunk and I slept away. Woke up and I'm like, my belly's rumbling, I'm gonna go and get my chocolate cake. Went upstairs and my mum said, oh look, there he is.
You want your chocolate cake? It's on the wall.
Like, made for my chocolate cake, so, well, you can scrape it off the wall, son. I'm like, what do you mean scrape it off the wall? Is there none left? It's like, no, it's literally on the wall. And I'm like, what the hell happened?
So, in the end...
I'm like,
Gary had...
Oh, so gutted. I'm like, do I not get any Christmas dessert this year? So, there's profiteroles. That was my pudding for Christmas. Profiteroles.
Whereas I had a lovely Christmas dinner with my family, and me being loving baking and cooking and stuff, I baked some lovely Christmas goodies, snowflake biscuits. I even made a Victoria sponge cake, and I decorated it in to make it look like a Christmas cake, and it was lovely.
You did like ice and snow, and I'm like, that's so creative. And you had like these wee figures of like snowmans and that. And
A snowman, a Father Christmas, and a Christmas tree.
It looks so realistic. I'm like, it looks so good.
And I just wrote Merry Christmas in red and green icing. When Gary came back down, it was around just before New Year's, and then Gary popped the question, literally
out the blue.
Out of the blue. But
Your
the problem
dad
was, okay, my dad knew because he had to ask permission, like as tradition, you have to ask the father's permission to marry the bride, I guess.
And then your mum came down, so I thought it a lovely idea.
But Gary set it up and made it too obvious that he was going to propose to me because the camera was down. He set his camera up. He did Facebook Live, and I just felt at that time that engagement is sweet, but I felt it was too predictable, and it was very rushed. Like it was too soon. But at the time I said yes, and then that night we went out to Wetherspoons. We had dinner. I had chips and a cheeseburger, and Gary had, I think it was steak and chips or something, wasn't it?
It wasn't steak. It definitely wasn't steak. What was it? Was it fish or? I can't remember.
Well, but then Gary and I had chocolate fudge cake and ice cream for dessert, and that was
so
just
good.
That was gorgeous, and and then that night we came home and then we snuggled. Now at the time we slept on an airbed in my bedroom, and
we got a bit rowdy.
Yeah, quite rowdy.
And your dad screamed out, there was what are you boys doing up there? And in the front room there's a little crack in the ceiling because my bedroom is above the living room, so we got a little bit too rowdy, shall we say. We were having too much fun, shall we say. So, yeah. So, blimey, two guys, that's the power of two gay guys. So, New Year's came, and we were happy, and I remember we wore Mike Muffin Power Ranger t-shirts in grey, and with these sparkly silver hats. And now... what we loved about New Year's was we were together and it was really good. But January was a little difficult because Gary went home and he wanted to stay in Glasgow because his cousin Jordan was having a baby. And Gary thought Jordan was going to need him and, be around for her and do this, that and the other. Turns out that Jordan had the baby and she was absolutely fine. And what was it you said to me after that, honey? There was nothing stopping me coming down to see you.
Exactly. And I think, because I know that around that time, around August time, when Gary was with me to eat, one of his ex-best friends started causing trouble. And then during January, this ex-best friend was getting upset, saying, "Oh, you spend too much time with Joe. You don't see me anymore. We're not going to be friends anymore." And then I messaged this friend of Gary's, and I just said, "Look, dude, I'm just Gary's boyfriend, fiance, and I'm not trying to take him away from you. It's like you're supposed to be Gary's best friend. You should be happy for him, not trying to ruin this wonderful thing he's got." So it's like, if Gary chooses to come down and see me, then that's his choice. You can't make him pick and choose. It's like, if you should be happy for him because he's happy. You should be happy that he's happy. So, but then what happened was he messaged Gary. Whose side did Gary take that day?
Not the right one.
He took his side. And then Gary had to go at me saying to go and apologise to his ex-best friend. And I got really upset because it's like, hello, you're supposed to be my fiance, not his. So it's like, if it was one of my friends moaning that, oh, you don't see me much, why don't you just stop seeing Gary? Why don't you see us more? I would have said, no, you're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be happy for me. I will spend time with you when I can. But when I'm in Brighton with Joe, then I'm with Joe. That's it all. So yeah, it's like, but that's when it got really difficult, because February was the last time I did see Gary at that time, because we did Valentine's Day. It was a little chaotic because we did Lucky Voice, and I think we went out to dinner. I don't recall.
I thought we never went back to Wales.
No, we tried to go to Wetherspoons, but it was full. So we ended up going back to my place. I think we had a takeaway. Not exactly.
Kebab night.
Yeah, not exactly the romantic meal we wanted, but then I noticed something was wrong, because Gary took a lot of things with him back to Glasgow, like a lot of his shoes. Usually, he left his shoes in my house because he always had a pair of shoes in my house. But he started taking a lot of things with him, and that seemed odd. Then came 27th of February 2019.
I went on a very alcoholic binge.
I was out for Pokemon Day because I was celebrating. And
you kept messaging me and like, leave me alone, I'm trying to have a drink.
Gary was drinking, and then I messaged Tanner that morning, Gary's mum, saying, like, I'm really worried, I don't know what to do. And Tanner just told me to not worry and she'll talk to Gary. But little did I know that what she was going to say to Gary was to tell me to break up with me. And that night we had that horrible phone call, and Gary broke up with me. Oh, and then some things were said about my family, and I was just so hurt and upset. And then I just said, don't ever speak to me again. And then I ended the call and just blocked him on social media, and I just cried and cried. And my mum just came into the bedroom, heard because she was hearing everything, and she just hugged me, and I just cried and cried and cried. And then I just saw this picture of me and Gary beside my bed, and then I just picked it up and I just chucked it to the wall. And Mum said that it was good that I did that, because it was trying to get some of that anger out of my system.
And for about a year and a half, nearly 2 years, we went our separate ways.
Well, actually, no. What happened? It was we went our separate ways straight after that, because I actually remember you were drunk. And you messaged me, and you were just saying, "Oh, send the stuff up and blah blah blah," demanding your things being set up to it, and me being upset and heartbroken. I was like, "Go away! I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to hear anything from you." And I just blocked you some more, because I did not want to hear from you, because I was so hurt and betrayed. Because a lesson learnt: never, if you love someone so much and they mean so much to you, and you're both happy being together, never pick your friends over your relationship, because true friends will be there for you always, through the good and the bad times. But a loving partner is meant to be for life.
Yeah.
So for the next 2 odd years, nearly 2 odd years, Gary and I were apart. We didn't talk, we didn't acknowledge each other, we just moved on. Gary was just, I slept around, Gary was just drinking a lot with his friends and stuff, because that's all he had. But then, when lockdown happened...
Actually, before that, a lot of stuff happened to me.
But it was mainly 2020.
2019 was a really good year for me. 2018, not so much. 2019, I turned my life around. And I was hoping that you would have seen that.
But that's the thing. I was too focused on myself and getting my life back on track. But that year, I did 2 Joe Boy gigs, and I did a lot of Power Ranger work, because that's when Ranger Chamber well, it was Gold King Ranger at the time. That's when my Power Ranger page, Gold King Ranger, started working with Hasbro, so that was really good. And then 2020 lockdown happened, so we were all stuck in our houses and everything, and we were bored out of our blinking skulls. So we just did the best we can. Luckily, we were rescued. 2020 was saved by Steps. They announced and released the new album, What the Future
Holds.
Yeah. About early November, about middle of November 2020.
A week before the release.
A week before the release of
Literally a week.
Yeah. The week before the release of What the Future Holds, the album, an email popped up in my email inbox.
Can I tell this story?
Go ahead.
I was going through my PayPal because cleared my debt. I was back on track, had work, lost it during lockdown, but I was just going through all my PayPals and seeing what I had paid in, what I paid out, and I saw an old payment from Joe of 50 quid. And I'm like, oh my God, so the amount of times Joe has helped me out. My ma's like, you miss him, don't you? I'm like, I don't know why I gift him up, just because I wanted a drink.
And also because you were trying to keep your friends happy at the time.
But I stopped talking to Robbie after August, and I'm like...
Robbie is the ex-best friend, pretty much.
He wasn't in my life anymore, and I'm like...
He was gone, pretty much. Because for a long time...
And Danielle was like, you missed Joe as well, so try and get him back, guy. So you want him back, try and get him back. So until you do, I don't want you to talk to me. You're depressed.
Because something happened between Danielle. Danielle is basically Gary's best friend, but also his ex-girlfriend. Now, a lot of people...
She knew I was gay. She knew.
A lot of people do say don't be friends with your ex, but I don't think it's true. If you end on good terms,
I think we ended. It wasn't even bad terms. She just knew
that's
I
what I
was
mean.
gay,
That's what I mean.
And she wanted
you
me
ended
to
on
find myself.
you ended on good terms, not bad terms. I mean, whereas Gary and I ended on bad terms. That's why Gary wanted to stay friends with me after we broke up, but I just couldn't do it because I knew if I stayed friends with him and he got with someone new, it would break my heart because I still loved him so much. It wasn't like I left him; he left me. But that doesn't matter now. It's 2020. Gary emailed me, and he basically... I
managed to find your email, and I'm like...
It must have... And it was an email...
I'm like, what the hell do I say?
And the email address, he just sent me this long email saying, I'm so sorry, you were right about Robbie. You know, because for a long time I did try and say, look, Gary, you've got to, be careful, Robbie, he's bad news. But at the time, he didn't want to believe me because he believed that because you were friends with someone for a long set of years, that they were going to be friends for life. But that's not always the case. It's like you could get to know someone, you could know someone for a long time. I mean, my ex-best friend, George, I knew him since school. And then I came out gay, things happened, and he just basically didn't want to know me anymore, mainly because I'm gay. So, but that thing, he wasn't meant to be my best friend. This guy's my best friend and my soulmate, and I love him. So, with that, so Gary and I read the email, and I thought, for a long time I did think, oh God, why is he messaging me? What does he want? Is he trying to pick on me? Now, because unfortunately, when something happened early 2020, I was part of a hate campaign, where I was basically the target for a hate campaign organised by a bunch of Power Ranger cosplayers from Scotland. And
which I had nothing to do with. I left Power Rangers after me and Joe broke up. They bonded with her.
And that's why when Gary emailed me, I thought at first, oh God, it's going to be something to do with them. So, Gary got in contact through email. So I read the email and I just thought, right, I want him to hear what I have to say. So I unblocked him on Instagram and I video called him, and Gary was nervous. And I was nervous too. Because I thought, is he going to be still immature? Has he grown up? It's like all these different things. And what was important was, it was important for Gary to know what it felt like being on the receiving end of all those things. So so Gary and I video chat, and then for the next couple of hours we just thrashed it out. I talked about how I felt, how hurt and betrayed I felt. And we just thought, I just said, I'd rather you I mean, I asked him if he was with anyone new, and he said no, and I wasn't with anyone. So we just thought, look, Steps is coming. Let's just try and be friends again at least. And Gary was looking for closure. I wanted closure, but then it's like we both realised that there was still a lot
I
of...
didn't want the relationship at first. I just wanted to close that bad chapter and
try and move on in some way, whether it's just say sorry, move on, or just be friends. But the thing is, when Gary and I just, we still really liked each other, even though we were still hurt. I mean, I was hurting for a long time, but it's like it took me a very long time to move on. And when Gary and I started talking, it was like, I knew if I didn't talk to him, I knew I probably would have regretted it, because, you know, look at us now. We're together again. And if I didn't take that initial step to talk to him, we wouldn't be here today. And if Gary didn't send the email, we wouldn't be here today. So I think maybe that breakup from 2019 was meant to happen, because we needed that time apart to grow up.
I was in work, I was a lot healthier. Robbie clearly didn't care about my work life, because he was like, you're working too much, the work's ruining your life.
Even though it was like
Even though I got Robbie countless opportunities to get work himself, and he just spat it back in
your face, pretty much. And it's like, that just shows how selfish he was. He didn't care about all the good things Gary tried to do to help him to get through life. So Gary and I started talking, and then along came the new album. There was a song on that album called
I started crying. I'm literally
we got emotional.
I'm like, you're like, Gary, you're around? I can't do this. And I literally hanged up the phone on you and like, I need an hour. I literally just broke down.
It was that song. It kind of reminded him.
Because even your matter said, is Gary alright? So did something happen? I'm like...
And I said, I didn't know. I didn't know what was wrong. So we were listening to the new album, What the Future Holds. To the One came on. You can listen to that song, actually. It is on the Steps official YouTube channel.
1, 2,
No,
3.
Not quite now. Is that we can't do it right now because of copyright stuff. Fuck. So if you want to listen to it, we'll leave it in the link in the description below so you can go and listen to it, because it is on Spotify and iTunes.
It's such a good song. Such a good song.
But basically, Gary and I, by like late November, we started realising that we were starting to get really close again, and we talked and laughed. It felt like Claire and Reese's relationship, Claire from Steps and Reese. They were together for a bit, and then they broke up, and then they got back together a couple of years later. But obviously, it didn't take us long to start talking and getting to know each other again. So I remember when it was Christmas. I think we sent each other a Christmas card I think we did a present and a Christmas card.
Couple presents.
Yeah, a couple presents and a Christmas card. Then New Year's came, and then we were listening to Tragedy by Steps, which is what we do every year. We listen to Steps, Tragedy, just before midnight, and then on the stroke of midnight, Gary asked me back out, and I said, do you know what? It's a new year, it's a new start, let's see where this takes us. Yeah. And we haven't looked back since.
I know, because we've been in a relationship now coming on 2 years. That beats 10 months.
Wow. Oh my goodness me, it's nearly been like 50 minutes of this video. So, well, it's probably over 50 minutes now. But that is where we are now. Obviously, we did get up to a lot of stuff in 2021. So, join us in another video where we talk about 2021 and all our adventures in that year. So, we would just like to say a massive thank you for everyone who's joined us for nearly an hour. We apologise it's taken us so long to get this video sorted. So, we'd just like to say a massive thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video, share the video, comment below. And if you'd like to ask us a question about our relationship, or if you need any advice about your some relationship advice or engagement advice, just, send us a comment below and we can try and give you some good advice the best way we can. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, because if you want to see more content just like this, and trust me, we've got lots of videos coming up from Power Ranger videos, Steps, Ninja Turtles, Pokemon, Doctor Who, Star Wars, and so much more. In fact, you can see all the logos on our YouTube channel banner. We're so excited. And of course, we'll be trying out some snacky foods in our upcoming videos, so be sure to stay tuned to that. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching. We love you all so much. Just remember, be proud, be yourself, be fabulous, and keep smiling. Just be yourself, and you'll go far. And it's a goodbye from me, Joe.
And it's a goodbye from me, Pancake Face. Goodbye from me, Gary.
It's a goodbye from him. Goodbye from me, Joe. Goodbye from
Gary.
And together,
We're
J&G. And we love each other. Love wins, honey.
Certainly does. Certainly does.
So we love you guys too. We love you. And we'll see you in our next upcoming videos. Mwah.
Mwah.
See you there.
Bye.